choice. We're coming into top quality. That's what the Lord wants for us. That's the promise. And today, as I was reading in Isaiah 44, the Lord says that they carve themselves out statues and make the statues to look like themselves and think that they've done a good thing. And what I heard the Lord was saying is that my beauty is way above the imagination of man. Though he may carve out a statue and admire the work of his hand, but no way can that statue have that supreme beauty of the Lord. You see, have that supreme beauty. So now I have to come back onto what I was just saying here. I went and flicked over checking out Facebook and Google Plus and kind of lost the strain of what I was saying. So, and I was trying to see whether I'm just giving it a break from the constant talk here, and I'm going to see if I can pull up some music. If the iPad will last it. Nope. Oh, come on, iPad. What's happened to this iPad? These days it's just probably wants a backing up or so. But you need to have the Mac computer to do that, and I haven't got the Mac computer. Come on, iPad, let's have a little bit of music. I am not in the trained voice to sing for the audience. Okay. So I'll just say, Jeremiah, how are you doing? It's been a long time, and it's nice to see that you're back again. You know, loyal listener you've been for me, which is very encouraging. And let's try and see if I can get some music again. I'm going to I like Fever. Oh nope, the iPad has gone off for some reason. It's about fever. Everybody's got the fever, and basically the earth is heating up. There's going to be fire on the earth, but it's only scary if you haven't had that transformation. But if you come into purity of spirit, then we just glide, we just surf over the flames. Because flames means purification. When the Lord speaks of fire, which he often does, he's talking about being purified in the spirit. So to go back now on chapter 12, let me see. On chapter 12 here.
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care.
Oh, cool. When I put my hands around you. Okay, the iPad is playing up on me today for some reason. Yep. So I wanted a little break there. It's flashing up again, but it's not reliable on its music there. So I'm just wilding myself just to give myself a little break. Okay. So Leon is speaking again, and he's saying Joel 1:11. Be ashamed, O farmers, wail, O vine dressers, for the wheat and the barley, because the harvest of the field is destroyed. Yes, so he's gone over to Joel, verse 1:11. Be ashamed, O farmers, wail, O vine dressers, for the wheat and the barley, because the harvest of the field is destroyed. Yep. So basically, we are not in the practice of operating in the will of God, I'm going to put it that way, or in the alignment of God. And so now it will make the transition even more of a resistance for us, because we have become so acquainted, so conditioned in the way that we exist right now. And many people believe this to be the universal existence. You see, And the Lord is saying, putting the word through Joel, saying, be ashamed of that. Don't settle for this lesser existence. There is a far more supreme existence of farmers. Their planters wail. Okay? That means, the Lord is saying, is putting forth the prophetic word, that we are not to be satisfied at all, not to be complacent. I'm putting it in my expression here. In where we're at, the Lord wants us to be yearning. And if you sometimes realize, particularly when we're younger people, we have an issue in finding satisfaction. And there's a song there, that can't get any satisfaction. And I try and I try and I try and I just can't get any satisfaction. You find that a lot in the young people. As you get a little older now, begin to mellow, and you begin to find satisfaction. But the younger people, they cannot find. So the Lord doesn't want us to be complacent at where we want. He wants us to keep desiring to come up higher in Him. Some unknown desire, some unexplainable desire. And this is my way of explaining what Leon has put up in Joel 1:11. Be ashamed, O farmers, wail, O vine dressers, for the wheat and barley, because the harvest of the field is destroyed. And again, what I'm hearing here, because the harvest of the field is destroyed, I'm hearing that, and I've said this often, that there is another who has intersected upon the minds of the people. There is another network, and I'm going to say forces of darkness, that has thwarted what the Lord intended for His people. And that's it. It's coming out with another voice. So it's not only speaking to the Lord's people, chosen people, but it's speaking to other forces there. All right, and it's a witnessing to say you've gone against the Lord, you've gone against Him, and there's going to be a judgment coming to you. So Leon continues to write Isaiah 17:11. In the day that you planted, you carefully fenced it in. And in the morning you bring your seed to blossom, but the harvest will be a heap in a day of sickness and incurable pain. In the day that you planted it, you carefully fenced it in. Yes, and I'm going to talk about the 1,000 years of holy sabbatical rest. And in the morning you bring your seed to blossom. But the harvest will be a heap in a day of sickness and incurable pain. So there's only one way to do things, and there's no other way. And if we read the Gospel of 10, St. John chapter 10 here. It says here, verily I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. Okay, to him the porter openeth, and the sheep hears his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name and leadeth them out. Okay, so I am the door. By me if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. It's talking about purification. It's talking about the Passover, and the Jews went and purified themselves, and Jesus rebuking the unclean spirits. So in the day that you plant, you carefully fence it, and in the morning you bring your seed to blossom. But the harvest will be a heap in a day of sickness and incurable pain. Again, Job and his colleagues were speaking, and it's also in the prophet Ezekiel. It says that it seems like the wicked thrive. It seems like they build houses and they build businesses, and I'm not labeling or tagging business people today, but it seems like for a while wickedness seems to thrive. Evil and sin, it seems to be getting along. And sometimes you feel like somebody's done a wrong at you, and they're getting along, and you wondered, well, when am I going to get my revenge on what they've done? When will I see a rebound on themselves and that? You see, but the time will come when, yes, the deeds of one to another, if it's been unrepented, it will come back on them. It will be put down. And that's what it's saying here, to remain trusting of the Lord, to remain patient and still in Him. Because though wickedness seems to be thriving, the time will come when the Lord will cut it off in one swoop. And again, it's saying that the kingdom of God cannot mix with any other kingdom. It reigns, it has the ultimate power over all. And that message is in line with what Jesus was saying when He went to Ephany in Israel. And He says, Shabbat Shalom to you, peace. Thank you, peace. So, can't get my music. I could do with a little bit of rest here because I've been talking a while. So I'm going to go back over to 11 here and 12. And he says that, and the house was filled with the order of the anointment. And I know that I can take that one a bit further. When it goes into order, that means a transcendence took place. The mind went into higher visions of the Lord. And you know, the book of Ezekiel, it starts off with the visions that Ezekiel had of the Lord. So it's, again, as I said, it's talking about the mind. But when we come into the mind of God, we come into spectacular visions. And as a teaching, because it's telling us from these visions we can become, I use the word co-creators. Yeah, so Jesus is talking about coming into the mind of God. And that's where we should be right now. That's where we should be. And the Lord has beckoned me to go out and give the message to the people, the importance of being positive. Because from thence, now we can align our minds with the mind of God and have spectacular visions. See? So now if I move on to verse 4 of chapter 12 of St. John, then says one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him? Why was not this anointment sold for 300 pieces and given to the poor? Now that's kind of deep spirituality going on here. It's not as simple as it sounds, and I would need the Lord to give me revelation here. You see, I've been talking for 2 hours now, and I'm getting a little weary. I could do with a little break of music. So he said, then said one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him? Why was not this anointment? Then says one of his disciples, Judas, oh yes, Judas said this, why not was this anointment sold for 300 pieces and given to the poor? There's going to be a division of people. Right? And that, we see that in the book of Revelation, that we are to, when people are divided, come this transformation time, there will be those who will believe and those who will not believe, and of course those who will be on the fence. But basically, according to the book of Revelation, we are to leave them. Yeah, where people are at the time of the preparation of the earth for the coming of the Messiah, we are not to argue with them and try and persuade them. We are to let them be as they are at this time. And so now Judas, he complains about the oil. So he's not in the readiness to receive what was taking place here. Yeah, he's of a different mind. He hasn't allowed his mind to transcend and to come higher. And that's where you're going to have a division of people. Those who will refuse to accept something new, something young, and something transforming. They will refuse to accept the change. And like a tree, when the wind blows and it doesn't bow, then you know what happens. It snaps. So why was this anointment sold for 300? Why was not this anointment sold? So he's in another frame of mind. He's in the worldly mind, and he's like, well, you could have used that to trade. You could have used it to get money. Yeah, that's the mind that he's in. He's in the worldly effect. He's in the Gentile spirit. He's putting something before the Lord, and he's putting money. right? The lady,